Brad Keselowski's team fined 100 owner and driver points, 10 playoff points, and crew chief Matt McCall is suspended for the next 4 races for modifying three now. For modifying a single source supplied part. TJ, I'm assuming you're spot on.
Yeah, I don't know, Bob. I am spot off. I'm going to wait for everything to play its course. I don't make the rules. I don't have anything to really do with any of this, but I'm going to let them guys handle it and let the process play out.
So Brett, you mentioned, I think Brad mentioned he's going to appeal it. So what does this process look like?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, man. Winning appeals is very tough. We've only seen a couple of appeals reversed, and one of them they didn't really have a choice because the series director had given someone the approval to do something of which they went and did, and then the series director said, you can't do that, you're kicked out. So that guy kind of had to eat crow, but the likelihood of winning this appeal, very, very low. Massive fine here. Not the money, the points. 100 points is massive, especially when you're at a company that's not performing at a high level week in and week out. Do I think they're going to get there? Yes. Brad Keselowski's a very talented race car driver. TJ's obviously a very experienced, talented spotter. They've got the resources, but their cars aren't fast yet. We saw them really struggle at L.A., and now here we're getting ready to hit a ton of short tracks. Now Bristol's fast. Richmond's going to be fast. Martinsville will not be fast, but nonetheless, this is our three short tracks.
I don't put anything in L.A., though. I know what we missed there and stuff. I feel pretty good about that.
But as an observer, I'm like, now you got a run of 3 tracks here where you could potentially struggle, and you're at a 100-point deficit. So I think the thing that people need to focus on with this particular situation is not what did they do, right? Because it appears whatever they did, NASCAR didn't like. Well, NASCAR doesn't like tires falling off cars. NASCAR lets you drill holes in things if you don't ask for permission, which I think Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing was part of that deal where they were cheating up the wheels before everybody else was allowed to cheat up the wheels, and they didn't do anything to them then when I thought they should have been kicked out for that personally, because if they're able to do it, then why wasn't everybody able to do it, right? But the 100-point thing, Freddie, is what I say is big in this situation.
Yeah.
Your crew chief, money, that sucks. Points.
I mean, the crew chief's not that far away. He's still there calling a race. But, Brad's in a must-win situation now in my book. He's too far back and too many guys, but he's over 100 points out already, and there's 20 guys between him and the cutoff line now. He's, I don't know, what is he, like 34th, 35th in points? I mean, there's Cody Ware, BJ McLeod, David Reagan's run 2 races. He's ahead of Brad in points right now. Mm-hmm. That's how stiff this penalty is. There's just, and if we see this trend continuing, there may not be a position in the playoffs for a guy that points his way in. We're 6 winners in already now. There might not be available spots for guys to point their way in anyway. So he's going to have to win a race, I think. But one of the things I found interesting about this was, we've seen in the past, they, take cars to the R&D center all the time. Every week almost, it seems like, we took these 2 cars to the R&D center, and it was almost
not this week.
It became like a formality. Yeah,
they took Brad's last week, right? Was that where they found the issue?
Captain Obvious sitting over here. I mean,
well, no, you said it was during inspection. Never mind.
So they took. This is where they found this stuff as on R&D center. So now, that becomes a little more interesting when they say, we're taking cars back to the R&D center. What could possibly come out of that? Because like I said, last year it seemed like a formality. They took 3 cars after a race and we never heard anything else about it. So that'll be interesting to see if that continues to, to play a role in the season-long point standings. But
don't forget, people are short on inventory, they're short on parts, and we're short on time. And that west to west coast racing, when people were tearing up cars, I mean, like, holy cow, man, it just really paints you in a box. So I can't imagine that this was necessarily on purpose, but it doesn't matter. If you're cheating, you're cheating. And obviously they saw something they didn't like.
Like you said, so if they have any shot of making up that point gap, I mean, you're going to have to run top 10, top 5 consistently every week now and load up on stage points. and we just haven't seen that speed out of that car yet. I mean,
We haven't seen anybody really dominate like Denny and Kevin did a couple years ago. Larson,
I mean, right now, Chastain is the dominant one. Chastain, Reddick is up there all the time. Briscoe's up there all the time. Guys you don't expect, but there's just because they're different guys, they're the ones that are up front. It seems like every one of these races right now.